Okay, let's just wait a few minutes and then we start. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start. I hope to see some faces as I am not in a nobody's face. Okay, I'm gonna start. Let's see. Exactly. Yes, help me with the camera so we can feel connected even in the distance. Wait, let me share some. Um, okay. Can you see the screen? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Well, welcome to this workshop, Writing from Dreams. Definitely one of the most interesting because we know how dreams interact with ourselves and how we can create based on a dream. Actually, I create a lot using my dreams, and it's interesting like how something that has not logic in the moment can become something that's interesting, that generates a story. And it's like when something happens in your life and you take just a fragment of that or a portion and you create something else. So, first, as always, we will talk a little bit about the topic and then we will start with the exercises. So, basically, I think dreams are one of the oldest sources of storytellings because here we can find scenes, symbols, characters, conflicts, and emotions that we have in our dreams, and how these can become later on a story. So, an image or a voice or a character that we cannot understand, and what we can take there and then create something else. Like dreams remind us that creativity is not only something we control. That's interesting because sometimes in dreams it's like this has the body of my mother, but the voice is from my father. And it's something weird that we cannot understand. We lose control in dreams, and that's interesting to create. Not always trying to control everything in the creative process. Just allow things to happen, take what resonates or what you think is interesting, and then you can create something else. So it's interesting also to identify how the subconscious mind work here, like with these emotions, show us fears, desires that we maybe don't upset in our daily life. And then it's shown in our dreams. Maybe a childhood memory that was blocked is in our dreams and can reveal something that we haven't healed or understood in the past. So that is why dreams often feels like a story, a story that we are trying to understand, that we're trying to take something out of there. Okay. So in that way, I like to take dreams as an examples because they not always come in a perfect structured way. Like some of you had worked with me, oh, the outline, oh, the objective and everything around for the creation. But mostly those dreams can show us a desire, a conflict, a symbol, a transformation, an emotional truth, and also open this what if. What if in my dream this can happen? What if in my dream I can have that conversation that I never had with someone? So it's interesting how this what if that brings the creativity allow us to then create something and have this dream. So it's like a mix of memories, emotions, fears, desires that I want you to think this and with the exercises, not trying to understand, but to explore, mm? To see what this dream, what this memory, what this feeling tells about me, about my process, about my life, about my transformation. And then maybe a story can come out of there or not. Maybe I just got an information about myself. So I just want you to see like this, like dreams, we can see some images, we can see we can feel emotions, or it can bring like some symbols around a story. But in the subconscious mind, it's showing you fears, uncovered desires, memories that you had blocked in your life. And sometimes I know that's not easy. So this is like a personal process for each of you. But then the important thing is that you bring out some questions and possibility. What if this what if that brings creativity? And with that what if, we can then create a story, like with characters, with conflict, and with a specific thing. I mean, in all of this, we don't try to make sense or structure anything. Then, when we have the questions, we start creating the logical part of this. Okay. So, why these dreams are so powerful before we start the exercises? First, dream gives you emotional truth because what's there is really telling you something, and something that you will explore when you're ready, but it's showing you something. It will exaggerate your emotions, your feelings to show you this information. Dreams can create surprising images like, why is I dream with marrying my boss? What am I thinking about my boss? Maybe, I don't know, just a random thought. It's like, why am I dreaming with this person that I don't like? Maybe you should go back and see what you got there, okay? Dream reveals hidden fears or desires, like I said, can show me, like, in a weird way, a fear that I have or a desire. What this character that is you wants, what's this fear about? What I refuse to admit in the process. And I love this one. Dreams ignore rules. So it can be the body of my mother with the voice of my father, with the way of behavior of my grandmother. And this is a character that has these three important people in my life. So it's like there is no rules, or suddenly we are in a place that's not real, but everyone is real. So it's like there are no rules, or suddenly it's raining, but the rain is purple. So you can play around in a way that maybe we don't allow ourselves in real life. And the last one, dreams remind us that mystery matters. So this modern storytelling often wants answers of everything, but dreams don't. Dreams leave unanswered questions, strange feelings, beautiful contradictions. We don't have to explain everything in our stories. Sometimes we think, oh, people need to understand everything. No. Even if you write something in the best way you can, people will think whatever they want because their identity will filter this information. So even if Leslie wants to tell me a story, but if I have gone through that experience, I'm going to have another experience reading that, different from other people that hasn't been through that, and will read this story in a different way. So we just try to put the pieces in the most interesting and compelling way, and then we allow the reader to receive what they need. Hmm? That's our work. Okay. So let's just wait. Let me set the timer here. I want to hear some thoughts before we start the exercises. What do you think about dreams? Do you dream a lot? Do you create from dreams
I,
before we start?
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
had a I love dreams and I dream all the time. And I had this really weird dream that I was like running away with my colleague and we were together, but he has a wife and kids. It was so strange and it scared me so much because we were, I guess, in New York, but it didn't look like New York City, and the dream was so vivid.
Yes, I agree. Sometimes we feel even in our body, or we wake up and we're sweating or crying. So, yeah, totally. Thank you, Leslie, for sharing. Someone else before we start the first prompt?
I have a recurring place that's like a portal here in New Orleans that where I go in my dreams to visit my family in Cuba. And it's happened
Mm.
like several times. I like it really affects me some when it happens, and then I want to be able to somehow control it and make it happen, but it's very rare.
Wow, that's interesting. And we have an exercise for that, for these recurring dreams that we have and how we can interact with them. But that's so interesting. That's just a story what you just told. So I love it. Thank you, Cielo, for sharing. Yes. Someone else before we start? Okay, so let's start and then we will continue sharing thoughts and whatever comes to our mind. Okay, so the first exercise, the prompt one, from dream to a story, you are going to think about a dream that deeply impact you. It might have been because of a person you couldn't forget of the dream, a strange place you were in, like Leslie was telling, this is New York or not, a conversation that I had in the dream, a single word that someone told me. And then you're gonna write down the details you remember most vividly about that dream and use those fragments as the seed to create a new story. So, first, connect with the dream, write down everything that you can remember, the things that impacted you, and based on that, you will create something else. So, maybe you will focus only on the character, on the feeling, on the place. You allow whatever needs to happen. Even if you want just to write about the dream, you are allowed to do that. Okay. The interesting is that we play with this uh, dream. Okay. So we have 10 minutes for that. Okay. Can someone share with me or with us why you picked that dream? You don't have to share a specific details, just why this dream and not other dream for this exercise. What was interesting? Can someone tell us?
I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had this dream over, I want to say maybe 15 years ago. And to this day, it is very much sort of it's almost a part of a fabric of my mind and my visuals. And yeah, it's interesting as I was writing. There were almost details that I was I'm like, am I making this up or did this happen really? So, but there were some other pieces that were very, very much, yes, like what I felt happened in the dream. So, I feel like I picked it because I feel like each time I think about it is almost like I think about it, but writing it down felt a little bit kind of more concrete. So yeah, but yeah, it happened almost like I would say probably 15 years ago, a long time ago.
Thank you for sharing, Carolina. And that's interesting how our perception from our dreams change with time. You know, this dream happened 15 years ago. How I see now this dream, or 3 years ago, or in the future, how my perception can change. And also, another interesting thing that you said, memory. Is this really happened? Was this a dream? Is this I dreamed this in this way. So it's interesting how memory interferes also in the process, in the creative process. So thank you for sharing, Carolina. Someone else that wants to share like why this dream or something about it, or how I felt now today that I'm writing about it. That's interesting also for us. You said in the chat, I picked this dream because it's the one I remember at the moment and it was very vivid and opposite of my life. In the dreams, remember so many details, but the details are the feelings I remember. Those feelings, yes. Sometimes it's more about the feeling, how I felt with this dream, what happened in my body, in my mind, in everything, and what comes next after that. So it's in these exercises is more interesting to explore what happens with you than what you have in the page. Okay, so try to be really aware of your creative internal process when we are doing these exercises. Okay, I'm going to continue with the next one. So, the second exercise, two dreams, one story. So, we will play more. So, think about two different dreams you have had and they might have been years apart, like for example the one from Carolina's 15 years ago and this one was yesterday. You can mix those, right? And write down one image from the first dream. So I'm going to take this image from the first dream, one character maybe from the second one, and one feeling they share with each other. So try to see how these two have a similarity in a way. So try to find something. Don't think about the similarity first, like first think of the dreams, and then try to find something that can relate to each other. And then you're gonna bring it together and let's see what new story can be born. Again, allow whatever happens in the process to happen. If I just want to start writing from this image, if I want to follow the whole process, that's okay for me. Okay. And be aware of what happens with you when you are remembering, when you are writing, how I feel, everything. Okay. So we can share with each other.
So now we're reading about the second dream.
you're gonna mix. You're gonna pick two dreams, right? And you're gonna take one image of the first one or the second one. I'm gonna take this image, for example, me in the beach. This is the image. Then I'm gonna take the character from the other dream. In the other dream, it was my grandmother. So I'm gonna put my grandmother in this space that was from the first dream. It's a mix, you know? And then you're gonna identify what is the relationship between these two dreams. Or these two dreams happen in the morning. So I'm gonna take that. Or, oh, in these two dreams, I felt happy. So I'm gonna take that. And then you're gonna create something else. But again, if I just want to stay here, or follow the whole process, that's okay for me. The more you play, the more it's gonna bring something interesting around. Yeah, it's okay, Carolina. Allow it to happen, to be messy, to be illogical. That's the funny part. Okay, allow that process, that discomfort with the creation. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, was it easy or hard to find a connection for the dreams? How was this process for you? I want to listen that. Tell me a bit of the process. I want to know.
I think in the beginning it was hard just because I didn't really understand the directions. But I just chose the first dream that I wrote about and then chose the second dream that I thought it was similar. And when I put the two dreams together or the writing of it together, I realized that it sort of mirrored to me what I needed to hear in the present. And it was kind of scary in that way.
Wow, wow, Leslie. That's interesting, and it's like I said, you don't have to follow along every step of this exercise. Just you can see, okay, this is the what Ellie proposed, but then if something comes up in the process, I allow that to happen. These creative exercises are for that, and I'm happy that you could found something for you, like something more personal. So yes. And at the beginning, it's not gonna be easy because our mind will play us and try to be logic. So this is on logic, and we will have like this challenge. But then as we release control and allow just the thing to come up to us, then something interesting can happen, like it happened for you. Someone else? Rosita, what about you? You're muted. Okay, I think you're
Oh,
there.
got it.
There.
I got it. Thanks. It took me, well, I remember one vividly,
Okay.
about the hearse being in front of my door and waiting for me. And then I couldn't think of another one. So I looked through my archives because I remember writing a dream journal. And it took me a long time to find another one. So it was about delivering a package that was undeliverable.
Okay.
And in that neighborhood, they were killing their babies. and and I totally disapproved. Although I didn't get involved because I felt, it was a strange neighborhood. I didn't belong there, so I didn't feel the pain of it. But when I woke up, though, the feeling when I woke up was remembering my separation from my own children and how insane I must have been at the time not to be able to take care of them, and how cruel that feels now.
Totally.
And that I have not felt the pain of it, only the relief of it. So that was like really interesting. So it's
Thank you.
that's a little simile between killing of babies and separating from them.
Totally. And thank you for sharing, Rosita. Definitely, when we have our dreams, we try not to judge them or ourselves, just to see what is this and what this has for me. Because sometimes we tend to try to judge and try to, run or write, and it's like, no, let me just see what is this. And I like how you could find something, this emotion or this feeling around that loss, let's say. Okay. Okay, we will continue with other. So the next one is the dream missing piece. So you will think about a dream you never understood, like I cannot understand this dream, and now you're going to change one thing of this dream. You will give it a different ending. You will add a character who wasn't there or reveal a secret that was hidden. And you will see how does the dream can change with that simple change that you do, or what story can emerge from that new version that you have. But first, found that dream that you still today cannot understand or clarify, and then change something that gives you a good feeling for from that dream that gives you a lot of confusion or repression or whatever. So try to play with that. Okay, before we go to the next one, why you think like today is still difficult for you to understand that dream? Like, is there a resistance? What happens there? You don't have to give details, just general thoughts around like why I still cannot understand um this dream. Carolina, Cielo, Rosalie, Leila, Leslie. Tell
Uh,
me.
I'll go first. I mean, this was a recent dream, and I think it relates to something I'm currently still trying to unravel. So I kind of attached it to that. And yeah, it's just so in my dream, it was mostly I've read a long time ago how the concept of water in dreams represents emotions. And in my dream, there was the sense of water, but no water. Like I knew there was, oh my God, there's water, but then I couldn't find the water. It was just like water had destroyed our home. There was like a flood, but then there was no water. Like the floor had fallen in because apparently there was a flood, but then I kept looking and I'm like, there's no water and no debris. So it's like the sensation of water, I guess emotionally, was what I was trying to sort of figure out. But yes, I think it's because it's still a situation that I'm sort of grappling with, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. That makes sense.
Okay, yes, a lot. And also this is an interesting source for resource for writing. Like sometimes we had something in our story that is not there but is there. Like for example, a character's voice that is in the protagonist can remember or hear this voice, but the character itself is not there. So it's something like it's present in the story but it's not in the physical. Like you said about the water, like we have this feeling, this sensation, but we cannot see the water, or the scene is not around the water itself. So I think that's an interesting resource for creative writing. Okay, so you can take that from that dream and situation and use it to create. So yes, I think that that's very interesting. The things that are there but aren't there at the same time. Okay, so we have two more, and then we start sharing some of the things that happen. So the next one. And this is for what you were talking about, Cielo, like the dream we keep returning to. So basically, there is a dream you never fully left. Like maybe you don't remember everything, but the dream still comes back to you. And I want you to return to that dream, and but try to walk farther this time. Like, what do you discover that you couldn't see before? And some questions, and ask you some questions in the process. And then I want you to write a letter to yourself, like, what do you think this dream has been trying to tell you all this time? Today, just what you think today. This can change tomorrow. What have you been afraid to see in this dream that you haven't seen? Where, what part of yourself is this dream asking you to remember? Like, write this letter, write whatever comes to your mind, but write it for yourself. Like, first, get to that dream and to whatever this dream has for you, and then write this letter like, hi Cielo, I know you've been coming back again and again to this dream, but I just want to tell you that ta 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 ta. Okay, so let's see what happens. This could be emotional for us, so we allow whatever needs to happen in the process. And also like be gentle to yourself. It's like this letter is like a hug to yourself for these things that you couldn't understand about this dream in the past. Okay? Okay, so we go to the next one and then we will start sharing our work or final thoughts or questions. So the last one is more like trying to go with the fantasy and creating something like the Museum of Forgotten Dreams. So let's imagine in your story there is a museum where people donate dreams they no longer want. Abandoned love stories, dream that predicted disaster, dreams people are ashamed of, dreams that belong to dead people, whatever. Your story begins the moment your character arrives at the museum and pick one of those dreams and what happens after that in your story. So let's use our imagination in this fantastic world to see what happens. Okay? Okay. So, if anyone has questions or want to share anything about the process or to read one page of what you created, that would be nice. Who wants to start? Cielo, can you go? Or Leslie? Or Carolina, Rosita, Rosalie?
I got interrupted a lot because I just got home and
Okay.
so uh I just got a couple of sentences that I'm able to share.
We'll listen.
Welcome to El Museo Bilingüe de los Dreams en Spanglish. The headset is scratchy against my ears and the voice is a little low pitched, making it hard to hear, pero le sigo la corriente. No es solo un museo de Spanglish. I learn in as the chirpy voice goes on. I can't even read my handwriting. Pero también en estos sueños hay de toda clase of breaking of divisions. Yeah, it's a little bit gibberishy, but basically it starts out where this person is going through this museum and listening, like to one of these guides, and the dreams are in Spanglish, pero it's also about like being able to meld these two parts of our experiences, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
I
basically
like the tone. I like the tone that you had, like to tell this story, and it hooked me. Like I want to like continue listening. So I believe you can develop more. You want to say something else about the character or?
No, I think that what happened is because I got interrupted and I couldn't stay in the flow of like the character in it, is I just started jotting down like just words of like crear familia en muchos lugares, like, and I think, yeah, I would be interested in maybe pursuing this as a short story. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely has uh things there that you can continue working on. Like this is a work in progress, and I love like the tone that you got there. Like it has a lot of expectation for the reader. So I believe that there is something there that you can, and in your story, for example, it was obvious about this museum having, but maybe in other story, this maybe something the character can discover, so we can play around with that. But instantly we are in a fantastic world in your story, for example, and just by a simple thing like this uh, guy talking, we can feel that, we can sense that. So I think that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Even if you got interrupted, there is something there to continue. Leslie, what about you? You're muted.
No, I know. I was trying to figure out what to read earlier, but I could. All right. This is being recorded, right? Uh,
Yeah.
I could read a little bit of this just because it's
Okay.
personal. Andrew got out of the car and looked at Ola, but all of a sudden, Ola looked terrified. He turned into someone else, not Ola, but Andrew. In a second, he became Manny. Manny turned his head to the left and then to the right. He put his he put his chin up and down as if this type of body swapping happens all the time. At the moment, I didn't know he was being tested before he moves on to the second part of his life. Manny, Manny, is that you? I screamed. He looked at me as if this wasn't weird at all, and said, Leslie, hi, darling. And then he swished his head so fast to focus on Ola. My man, he said, good afternoon. I know you have loved her, but love yourself. But love yourself in this moment. Sticking around and taking all the good parts and disposing of the bad, it's not only selfish, but painful for the both of you.
Wow, Leslie. This is quite emotional. And also you build very well the tension. Like we were there in every step as the character transforms as well. So I think there's a great job of tension, building the tension there and the interaction with the characters. And I believe you can continue with that story. So quite interesting. Thank you for sharing even just that little part because it was personal. So thank you. Rosita, you're muted.
I'm learning. I feel mesmerized about the switch of heads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and Ola, yeah, and Ola saying, no, 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 no. Someone said to Ola, I know you loved her, but I'm not sure I understood what the story. I was expecting to say that he would say, but love yourself first. But that's not what the character says. It was great. However, I didn't see a museum anywhere, or maybe they're already in the museum. That's to come. I don't know.
I think that was other prompt. I think that was other prompt.
Oh, really? We're not
Yeah.
still prompt 5, Museum of Forgotten Dreams?
No, in this one you can read whichever you want.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, great.
You can pick one and just read some paragraph or one page.
Oh, okay. All right. I wrote only one paragraph because, again, I spent a lot of time searching through my dream journal. So when she put her first foot into the museum, she sensed a chill, accentuated by the floor of tiles placed in artistic form. There was a stillness in the air. Her friend and companion was awed by the immensity of the lobby. So that's as far as I went. So the 2
Okay.
characters just going into the museum.
This is a great beginning. Also, you got a very great image, and there's something that you're building there. So I think you can continue. I know the work before, like trying to understand the dream and then creating, is a process, but this is for you to continue. So definitely there's something interesting then there, Rosita, to continue. So I wish you all continue, please. Carolina and Rosalie, I don't know if you want to share at least some paragraphs or anything before we go.
Yeah, I don't have much. I started with the museum. I guess I'll share from the Museum of Forgotten Dreams. I started like 3 times, but I'll read the latest. Let's see. The aisles were long. The aisles were long. All felt abandoned, forgotten, ditched, as if dreamers couldn't wait to flee. Admissions was free, the payment only that you acknowledge that these once existed in the corridors of someone's mind. For some dreams, the categories blended into each other. Love forgotten, love grieved, love abandoned, death. The banner for each hung low across the entrances. The shortest and smallest room was carved out for joy. I wondered if it was because this was meant more to be experienced awake.
Wow, it was intense also. A great beginning, vivid, and we can a lot of context that also helps the reader to be interested, like what's gonna follow, and in very descriptive as well. Yeah, to be experienced awake. Yeah, definitely something to continue. Carolina, thank you for sharing. Rosalie, okay, thank you for being here, Estelle. So thank you all. I wish you continue. Today was great. I think there are great beginnings there to continue working on, even with the other prompts. So I wish you could finish a story. Like, let's not just use this time to create a paragraph or two. Like, after this, at least I'm gonna finish one prompt. Let's do that. And if you come the other session, you can share something about that process with me, and I will be happy to help. Okay? So let's at least put that challenge in ourselves. One prompt, I'm going to finish from every workshop that I come. Okay? Great. Have a great day and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.